Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now we are going to discuss about the reasons for determining solubility. That why we are conducting the solubility analysis. If we see that some drugs have less solubility, then what we will have to do? We have to improve its solubility. So you can see here that if the solubility of drug is less than 1 milligram per ml, then it means it has poor solubility. So this poor solubility will lead to the poor absorption of the drugs. So we have to improve its solubility. So to improve the solubility, we have to perform pre-formulation studies. And in pre-formulation studies, we will study that in the next slides, that this solubility can be improved by different methods. So in the next slides, we will study about the methods to improve the solubility of the drugs. Now we move on to the next slide. USP and BP solubility criteria. You can see here in the left corner some descriptive terms. There are 7 descriptive terms shown here, from very soluble to practically insoluble. And the second column indicates the parts of solvent required for one part of solute. And here in the diagram you can see the particles of solute, solvent and solution. Let we take one part of solute here and one part of solvent. And if we say that one part of solute get dissolved in less than one part of solvent, then it means this solute is very soluble in solvent. So we can understand from this example, first term, very soluble, that if the one part of solute get dissolved in less than one part of solvent, it means this solute will be very soluble. And in the same way you can understand the rest of the terms, that is in case of very soluble, we say that the less than one part of solvent get dissolved in the solute. And in second case you see here freely soluble. So freely soluble term is used when 1 to 10 parts of solvent get dissolved in solute. In the same way you can see here when we talk about the soluble term, it means that 10 to 30 parts of solvent get dissolved in solute. And in case of sparingly soluble, 30 to 100 parts of solvent get dissolved easily in solute. Next, slightly soluble mean from 100 to 1000 parts of solvent required to get dissolved solute. And next term, very slightly soluble, it means from 1000 to 10,000. And the last, practically insoluble, mean 10,000 and over 10,000. And you can see here the example of insoluble. In case of this insoluble, if we say that last term practically insoluble, mean that you can see here that there are the precipitates present in this flask. So there are 7 terms here. We can use different abbreviations for this to quickly learn about this table. We can use a shortcut key VFS3VI to quickly learn this table. Now we move on to the next slide. Here you can see the BCS classification of drugs. BCS classification of drugs classify drugs in 4 categories. That BCS classification of drugs classify drugs on the basis of their solubility and permeability. You have already studied this BCS classification in your biopharmaceutics. So we will review this classification here, that these drugs can be classified according to BCS classification into 4 categories: class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. So you can see here from this table that the class 2 and class 4 drugs, these drugs have low solubility. So whenever we are going to conduct the pre-formulation studies about these low solubility drugs, what we will have to do, we have to improve the solubility of these drugs. And you can see here in the class 1, if we talk about the class 1 drugs, these have high solubility and high permeability, and it covers 35% of the marketed drugs, and total candidates 5 to 10%. And don't get confused from this marketed and candidate drugs. Consider them in separate categories. Let's say, suppose I say that there are 70 drugs which are marketed out of total 100 drugs present. It means that 100 drugs have been discovered up till now, and there are 70 drugs which are in the market. So 35% mean that it covers 24.5 drugs. If we say let's suppose that we have 70 drugs in the market. So if we say that 35% of our drugs of 70 drugs, it means that it is almost equal to 24.5 drugs, or we can say 25 drugs almost. In class 1 drugs contain 25 drugs. So when we are talking about marketed drugs, so we will take from this percentage, from this 70%, from this 70 drugs, we will take the percentage from this 70 drugs. When we talk about the candidates mean the total drugs we have discovered up till now. So you should consider these two categories in different way. Don't mix them. Some students get confused about this, that how 5 to 10% candidates and 35% marketed drugs. So you have to understand that you have to consider them separately, that if we have 70 drugs marketed and 100 drugs present in the total drugs discovered up till now. So when we are talking about this, so you take percentages from this marketed drugs, total marketed drugs, and from this percentage from the drugs which have been discovered up till now. So you can see here that in class 1 drugs which have high solubility and high permeability covers 35% of the marketed drugs, whereas candidates covers 5 to 10% of these drugs, total drugs discovered up till now. And when we will talk about the class 2 drugs, these drugs have low solubility and high permeability, and it covers 30% of the marketed drugs, whereas the candidates covers 60 to 70% of the total drugs. And when we talk about the class 3 drugs, it contains high solubility and low permeability, and it covers 25% of the marketed drugs, and candidates 5 to 10%. When we talk about class 4 drugs, these show low solubility and low permeability, and this covers 10% of the marketed drugs, and it covers candidates almost 10 to 20%. So you can get better idea from this table that class 2 and class 4 drugs, you can see here class 2 and class 4 drugs, these drugs have low solubility, so we have to improve the solubility of these drugs. So to improve the solubility of these drugs, we have to perform pre-formulation studies.